Hello everyone, welcome to my place of training. This is my garage where I do all my training, and today I'd like to show you a video looking at a dynamic warm-up / dynamic stretch. We use these terms interchangeably, and I'd like to show you this as to why we do this as opposed to static stretching. I encourage you to read the article that has the link below this video. It's on powerliftingwatch.com. I posted a video similar to this in the past on my channel, but I'd like to get a little more in depth so we can kind of supplement the article with this, show some dynamic stretching exercises, and the efficacy and why we use them. These exercises are to be used before you're lifting or before your anaerobic performance of any kind. They've been shown in the data many times to increase the effectiveness and the strength and quality of your workout. Static stretching, on the other hand, seems to decrease the quality of your workout, decrease performance, decrease strength, decrease sprinting speed, whatever it might be. The reason for that, the reason for static stretching to decrease performance is due to what we call the stress, S-T-R-E-S-S, stress relaxation effect. What this does, it deforms the tissues around the muscle. So when you stretch, if I stretch and hold, I deform my tissues around the muscle. This in turn causes a decrease in stiffness of the muscle. When you decrease the stiffness, you store less energy. Thus, we do not stretch before a workout as it decreases our performance. Right? It makes us less efficient. This doesn't mean we don't warm up, however. We use a dynamic warm-up or a dynamic stretch to increase our force production without having the stress relaxation effect. So today I'm going to show you my warm-up that I do before my lifting routine and what helps me increase my performance. Now I'd like to stress that these are not the only dynamic stretching exercises you can do. I'm using a protocol developed originally by the legendary coach Billy Miller, which I've modified myself to include some things up. This was made up around 10 years ago. We all know the standard high knees and butt kicks, and those are great. You can use those as well. But here's what we like to use. So I'll take you through it. I do 8 reps of each. The first one is called lumberjacks. Keep your legs straight, touch the floor, go to the sky. Remember, we're reaching our stretch position, but we're not holding it. Here are lumberjacks. Again, I would normally do 8, but just for purposes of the video, we'll only do a few. The next one is called shoulder slaps. Right? I like to jump a little bit, kind of get the blood flowing, and increase my pace while I'm doing this flow. So, shoulder slaps. Windmills is our next one. Have your legs wide. You can keep your legs straight. Take your opposite hand, touch the outside of your opposite heel. Each time back to the middle. Next one is called iron cross. You've probably seen this before. A lot of athletes use this. You're going to lie on the ground. Have your arms out to the side. Take your right foot as far as you can. Touch your left hand, and vice versa. And then you're going to go to the back and do what we call a rear iron cross. Same thing there. The final one I use is called groiners. Right, so for the purpose of this video, we're going to be in a push-up position with our butt down and back down. Then you're going to bring your foot next to your hand. It looks like this. That's our dynamic stretching routine, but I like to add a little extra. For this purpose, I get a little chalk on my hands. I do so because it's about 105 degrees in the garage, so palms tend to be a little sweaty. Grab the med ball. You can do without the med ball, you can do with the weight. And you've seen these a lot. They're called V-ups. They're a great core exercise as well, but I use them because they increase the hip mobility, right, if you're going for a squat, and also work your core a little bit, although that's not our main effect. We're just going to want to get warmed up here. So we're going to keep our legs straight. And there we go for our V-ups. Again, these aren't the only exercises you can use. You can use high knees, butt kicks, roll backs, single leg reaches, other things you might see, but these are stuff that's been used in the literature and we've used in our lab. Now let me address a few quick questions. First, somebody asked me, well, what about range of motion? Static stretching is used to increase range of motion. This is true. However, 2 recent studies in our lab here at Florida State University, one published, one in review, they show that dynamic stretching increases range of motion to the same extent as static stretching, both about 17%, right? Thus, we know that you don't need static stretching for range of motion. Dynamic stretching will do the same. So, in short, it's a very simple answer. If you've done a dynamic stretching or dynamic warm-up, and you're not satisfied with your range of motion at that point, do a dynamic warm-up through a greater range of motion, and it will work. Trust me, the data is clear on that point. The best part about it is you increase your range of motion without decreasing your performance. And as lifters or runners, whatever it may be, we cannot afford that. Second, people like to use speed ladders a lot. Speed ladders are an excellent tool. I'm not going to deny the use of speed ladders. I have one, I use it myself. However, I would not limit your dynamic warm-up to speed ladders. The reason being, if you're doing a karaoke, a side shuffle, a 2 in, 2 out, a sprint through the ladder, and those of you who have used ladders know these movements, the thing about that is you're not getting a range of motion increase the same. Whereas if we do a windmill, right, or if we do an iron cross, right, or a lumberjack, our hip mobility is increasing more. So you can use speed ladders, that's great, but I would incorporate some of these movements so you can increase that range of motion a lot. Remember, we don't want to utilize static stretching at all, so we have to utilize movements that mimic static stretching without actually holding that position. Right? So a lot of these things are used. If you need this data or you'd like a further explanation, be happy to answer questions on here or on the actual article at powerliftingwatch.com. Again, I encourage you to go ahead and read that while you're watching this video. That will have a great explanation of the exact mechanisms, and I'll cite a lot of the data. If you like any of the papers that cite this data that show the decrease in performance with static stretching or the increase in performance with dynamic stretching, I'd be more than happy to send you those and discuss further. I look forward to learning from you. I look forward to sharing more ideas with you and having an exchange back and forth. It's a great tool. As lifters, none of us know it all. All we have is our experience and the data that's found, and from all of that, this is what we know at this point. So I appreciate that. The only other thing I'd like to add to this video is I don't have a study to support it exactly, but I do believe that heavy squats and Metallica have a synergistic effect on strength. So if we incorporate that into your routine, you'd be a lot better off as well. Thanks for watching. Any questions I can answer, any ideas you'd like to share with me, I'd love to hear. Take care. Best of luck to everybody with their training.